Ever feel like your Facebook ads are just eating your money up without getting any results? You're not alone. Most event pros jump into doing ads without any true clarity about how to actually use it inside of their business. Then they find themselves wondering why it did not work. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 things you must do before you spend another dollar on ads, so you stop wasting money and start booking the right clients. I've been in your shoes, overwhelmed by targeting, confused by ad copy, and worried I couldn't keep up with inquiries. But once I connected my ads to the right system, everything changed. And today I'm going to share exactly how to go about doing that too. In today's video, my goal is to be able to share with you 3 simple tips that even a novice will be able to start to apply inside of their business when it comes to doing Facebook ads. And I'm just giving a caveat that's as of October 2025, because there's some changes that are always evolving within the Meta platform. So the first thing that's going to be super important when it comes to actually creating ads is something that I always talk about: the importance of getting clarity on your audience. If you're just hoping that any and every person will want to book you, that is not the case, because as a business owner, it's important for us to have clarity on our target market and how we solve their problems. So you don't just want to boost a post and hope for the best. In fact, that would be a waste of your money. You need to know exactly who you're speaking to be able to create your ads appropriately. Some key questions that you want to really think to yourself when you're first starting to create ads is asking yourself, who is my dream client? Where do they hang out? And what problem am I solving for them? Those 3 questions are super important for you when you're growing your business, but most importantly, when you're doing ads. For event pros, that might mean targeting newly engaged couples, corporate decision makers, or local community organizations, depending on what type of service you provide in the area that you're in. The more specific, the better. And when we're talking about being specific, that also comes down to the area in which you're located. I know that in the big world of social media, we're like, I want clients from all over the world. But the thing about it is that, how about we master people in our local areas knowing who we are and solving the problem, and being able to have a bigger market share within a 30 to 60-mile radius of where we are located. And then once we get that, then we can start to even expanding into more of a national, regional, global presence. So once you have the ability of understanding exactly what your target market is, I think that that's also not just going to help you when it comes to doing your ads. This will also help you when it comes down to how you're marketing your business on social media. This is also going to be helpful to how you create the structure inside of your business. The second step that I would recommend for you to do is now to create compelling ad copy and visuals. Your ad isn't just about pretty pictures, it's about actually solving problems. So instead of just saying, book us for your next event, try something like turn your corporate event into a stress-free experience with your planning systems. You want to lead with value inside of your sales pitch. Inside of my company, I realized earlier in our marketing path that people really don't want to see photos of me and what we like of our team. What they want to see is people having a good time, that we're going to be alleviating any of the stresses and strains that they will have. They want to be able to imagine what it would be like by hiring us. But again, everyone's business is going to be different and their market is going to be different. So you want to be able to allow for the image when you are able to lead with value and pair that along with a strong visual, whether it's behind the scenes. Everything about marketing is all about leading with value when it comes to really being able to communicate clearly to your clients. So this is why you do want to pair that along with a strong visual. So whether it's a behind the scene of your team working or a client testimonial, that's what stops the scroll. In fact, I will even make sure in the description to have a interview with a really amazing videographer or a cinematic videographer. She does weddings. She shares some really great tips as to how to market your business when it comes to ads as well. So I think that that would be a really great reference point point because she gave some really great examples. And if you're not quite sure as to how to go about creating copy, this is why it's super important for you to use platforms like ChatGPT or Jasper AI to help you with creating some really great copy. I will even make sure to put in the description a prompt that I think will be helpful for you if you want to try it, because ultimately I want for you to have success when it comes to you being able to create copy with the strong visuals. Now that you have taken the time to get clarity on your target audience and you've been able to figure out how to create the copy and the visuals that are going to help with you marketing this ad, now it's going to be important to connecting it to a system to be able to capture leads for people that are interested in your specific service. And this is where HoneyBook comes into play. If you're not aware of HoneyBook, it is a CRM platform that allows for you to handle your client communication. And here's the truth. Running ads without a backend system is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. Even if you get leads, they'll just fall right through the cracks if you don't have a way of being able to capture, respond, and follow up automatically. That's why I recommend for you to connect your Facebook ads to HoneyBook so that you're able to have automations that are going to help with you converting your clients. So when someone inquires about your specific ad, HoneyBook can instantly send a branded response, schedule a call, and even kick off your onboarding process with ease when built correctly with their automations. So no more missed opportunities and no more late night follow-ups that are just not getting handled. And if you don't know how to set it up, don't worry. I'm about to walk you through how to go about doing this inside of HoneyBook. All right, so now I'm going to share with you the behind the scenes inside of HoneyBook and how to go about using HoneyBook with your ads. Now, you do want to make sure your HoneyBook is integrated with your Facebook ads. So all I'm going to do is click integrations, and within HoneyBook, you'll just go through the steps here to make sure you're connecting your account. So you'll just go to integrations, and any actual platform you're using, you want to make sure your integration is through your calendar, your Zoom, of course, your QuickBooks. But the most important thing when it comes to ads, making sure your calendar is connected, making sure your Zoom is connected, and then also making sure that your meta ads are connected as well. So once you take the time to make sure that those three integrations are occurring, now let's get into the actual ad component of it. The steps I'm going to be walking you through is how you would go about doing your lead generation inside of meta ads by actually doing the leads option inside of your account. I'm not going to personally walk you through creating an ad. I want to show you what to do inside of HoneyBook. But what I will do is put inside of the description two videos. One that's on YouTube that's going to teach you how to go about actually creating a lead forms inside of Meta, which was really great breakdown. So I'm not going to repeat that. What you really want to know if you're watching this is now that you have this lead form, how you're going to get these people into HoneyBook. So that's what I want to share with you. So what you'll do is create your leads ad based on the tips that based on the tips on the other YouTube video. What you will want to have happen is that after the person completes the lead form and they give you information as a potential prospect, you can have a scheduler in the confirmation on the instant form, or you can have a URL for people to direct them to your lead forms. You can do those two ways when it comes to using Meta ads for people to get into your HoneyBook. So now let's go into the HoneyBook side of all of this because that video is going to really help you. So when it comes to having a lead form, you want it to be that it's super simple. When you're doing ads, you want to make sure that if you're going to your cold or your warm market, we're not having people spend $2,000 immediately on an ad. It's either to inquire about your services, to find out some kind of free resource that you want to provide, something that's going to be a no-brainer for them wanting to come to you to find out about your event service. So what I did was inside of the ad that I'm running is that I have a confirmation page that says, thank you for wanting to have a free business assessment. Please click here to schedule a time to talk about your business needs. So what I did is that I created a scheduler. So if we look inside of HoneyBook, I go to Tools and Scheduler. I created a specific scheduler inside of HoneyBook being designated completely to the free 15-minute business system assessments. This is important to have specific schedulers based on why someone is scheduling a time for you. One, it helps with automations. Two, it helps with clarity as to why someone has a time block on your actual schedule. So I created a scheduler specific to this. Let's say someone completes the instant form and they decided to not schedule something at that moment. I do actually have a email sequence that is linked in my Convert Kit, which is my email marketing, that will also do some additional follow-ups just in case that person did not schedule a consultation. So one of the things I always say that comes up when it comes to automation, take to pen and paper what you want your client experience to be. So if I have someone that's inquiring about my event business, I don't want all of the pressure to lay on the client. What I want to have happen is that there's some touch points and reminders that are going to help them with being able to remember why they reached out to me, or to really showcase myself as a thought leader and an expert in my own event business or in this consulting business. So I have it that someone can schedule a time to talk with me based on this link that's going to come up after they complete the instant form. So now that I have someone that's going to schedule the instant form, let's go into the automations. So I'm going to go to Automations 2.0. Everyone should be switching over to Automations 2.0. If you're not quite sure how to go about doing that, again, you are more than welcome to schedule that assessment. And I do offer the build out services for people at a really great price. So what I ended up doing was that I ended up creating 3 automations based on that specific work funnel of someone being interested in my assessment. They schedule a time to talk, and now they schedule a time to talk. What now happens? So the first automation is that when someone clicks, and I always make sure I name my automations clearly. So what I did was that I named it Add Assessment. So when someone schedules this session, they have a email confirmation that's going to go to them inside of HoneyBook. What's great about it is that I have that when someone schedules a consultation with me, that I make it the project date and time. So I use smart fields inside of HoneyBook so that it feels as if it's a personalized email. In reality, it is a intentionally written template that's going to help with the communication that's necessary, where I wanted to not only just tell the person, hey, your confirmation, I look forward to speaking to you. Here's some things that can be helpful for you. And this is how you can stay connected. Super intentional. So once someone clicks the link, they complete it, they schedule a time to talk with me. I have a confirmation automatically send. And then I have that the system moves that project to my appointment scheduled workflow. So then the next step is, now that someone scheduled this appointment, what happens when it comes down to the consultation? What I wanted to happen as the second stage of my workflow was that one day before the session is about to happen, specifically my free business assessment, that I have a upcoming email that will go to them a day before, that's just going to again give some tips that adds value to that specific client. So if you're someone that's using HoneyBook specifically for your event business, this can be an option for you, that one day before their consultation, or maybe a couple of hours before, just give them some tips so that it's an impactful call, because you don't want it to be that you are, one, attracting clients that are not real good leads or good fits for your business, but two, you don't want it to be that they get on a call and they're not prepared, especially when we're not wanting to be on the phone with people for an hour or 2 hours or even 45 minutes. You have to prepare people for those calls. Third automation that I have is that when the 15-minute session ends, I have a recap email that's already in draft that I can do personalized to that client. Then it's going to wait 2 days. Then it's going to move that person to post. And then I will be sending them an assessment questionnaire based on their experience of working with me. Then I will have the system wait 33 days to then archive, to move this project to complete it. And then I should be doing, not move to pipeline, archive project, and then do completed project. and then require approval. The reason why I do this is because I want it to be that I'm still able to stay in communication with my client. So, based on how you're doing your ads, the reason for why someone is doing an ad with you is going to help you with having someone fill out their information and then still having communication going to them. Be intentional with however you decide to do your ads. When it comes to doing ads, it can feel overwhelming. Believe me, I felt that way at different points inside of my business when it comes to doing ads. Am I consistently doing ads? No, I am not consistently doing ads with my business because majority of my clients are coming for referrals, and I do need to actually start exploring doing ads on LinkedIn for my event business because more corporations are on LinkedIn and those are my point of contacts. So that is something to also consider for those of you that are thinking about doing ads. If you're in the corporate vein and the conferences and trade shows and things of that nature, your clients may not actually be on Instagram. So I do even say that that's a very valuable tip when you're thinking about doing ads. Know where your people are. So if you are tending to attract a more mature clientele, then I would not probably put a lot of money into ads on Instagram. I would have it more on Facebook. If I'm doing more corporate clients, then I probably put more energy into doing things on LinkedIn, depending on where my audience tends to be more active. So, this is why the first step when it comes to actually doing ads is to take the time to just have clarity on who your target market is. Because if you are doing ads without that clarity, it's not going to get the result that you're going to desire. The other thing that I do recommend when it comes to doing your ads is that when I talked about having the copy and having the great graphics, use ChatGPT to be that extra eye. What I like to do when I'm creating graphics is that I sometimes will use ChatGPT to ask for it to act like a graphic designer that has experience with creating graphics in Canva for my specific service. What do you recommend for design inspiration and what should I include on it? So, again, if you're not someone that is really great at this is where AI can be extremely helpful for you if you know how to prompt it correctly. Then, what I will do is I do my graphic in Canva and then I actually put it into ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, based on the feedback, this is what I create. What are your thoughts based on what you know about my business? This specifically works for those of you that actively use a platform like ChatGPT because as it gets a chance to learn more about you and your business, it can actually act like that silent business partner that is not already in your business. So I will send it and it'll say, oh, this is really strong. This is what I recommend. And it gives you feedback on what is going to be a great graphic for your business. But what you'll actually see in that video that is going to show you the meta ads part of doing ads in your business, you'll see how he talks about doing split testing. So you want to have multiple graphics or multiple copy to help you with being able to find out what's going to get you the best results. Because here's the thing with ads, it's not one size fits all based on your service and where you are. So what you do want to do is actually test out what you're doing. But most importantly, you want it to be that as people are learning more about your business through ads, you want to have the system to help you with supporting what you're needing to have happen. If this has been something that you want to explore more, I do once a month host a free HoneyBook workshop where I teach you how to use different parts of HoneyBook and the new features that they are rolling out inside of your business. If you find that that's something that's going to be helpful for you, there'll be a QR code that's going to pop up right now so that you can sign up today. I want to encourage you to be a part of my community to continue to learn how to master HoneyBook to be able to excel in your event industry business. If you found this conversation helpful for you, I would love to hear from you because I want to start showing you how to be more confident in using this system to grow and scale your business. Until next time, peace.